Welcome back to Fort Washington Collegiate Church's weekly online children's and youth ministry programming. Today, we're talking all about how important it is to be prepared and what we're able to do when we've thought ahead. Hint, there's a lot. For our song, we rewrote the words to a favorite of ours, which Jesse will perform. Then we'll read the scripture from the Gospel of Matthew together, and after that, Jesse will talk to our Redbirds, ages 2.5 to 5, all about helping out, then prepare go bags with stuff that's important to you for our Green Frogs, ages 6 to 8. And then for our Blue Whales, ages 9 to 12, I interview my very own dad about the basics of finance, investment, and of course, saving money in smart ways. Feel free to watch the whole video or use the timestamps and breaks shown below to view content specific to each age group. And as always, don't hesitate to send any and all questions, comments, criticisms, or suggestions to cym@fortwashingtonchurch.org. Enjoy the show. As we all know by now, sometimes the Bible can be a little confusing, more than a little. And today what we have, I have to admit, is an especially difficult passage. So grab your Bibles and follow along as we read Matthew chapter 25, verses 1 through 13, aka the parable of the 10 bridesmaids. So Jesus says, "Then the kingdom of heaven will be like this. 10 bridesmaids took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. When the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them, but the wise took flasks of oil with their lamps. As the bridegroom was delayed, all of them became drowsy and slept. But at midnight there was a shout, 'Look, here's the bridegroom! Come out to meet him!' Then all 10 bridesmaids got up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the wise, 'Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out.' But the wise replied, 'No, there will not be enough for you and for us. You had better go to the dealers and buy some for yourselves.' And while they went to buy it, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went with him into the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later the other bridesmaids came also, saying, 'Lord, Lord, open to us.' But he replied, 'Truly, I tell you, I do not know you. So keep awake, therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour.'" So what I like to do when the Bible story I'm reading is a little hard to follow is try to find out what the point is. And even though there's a lot of old-fashioned language, I think the point Jesus is trying to make here is that being prepared for whatever might come is a good thing to do. And one way to be prepared is to make sure you have enough. And what's even better than having enough is having more than enough so you can share with those who need it most when they need it most.
Hi everyone. This week is Stewardship Sunday, and so we're talking about stewardship. But what is stewardship? Stewardship is about taking care of different things. You can be stewards to the land and take care of the land that we live on, which gives us life. We can be stewards in our homes, in our schools, in the buildings that we live in. We could be stewards in our communities and with each other, with our friends. And stewardship is about taking care of these things. And so I wanted to sing a song about taking care of our church, because Stewardship Sunday is about taking care of this church that we're a part of. And so I have a song here. It's based on a Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young song that you may know, your parents probably know. But my version is called Our Church. So there we go. I'll light the candles. You place the flowers on the altar you prepared today. Staring at the Bible, praying in our hearts while we hear the choir sing their praise songs all morning for us, for all of us. Our church is a very, very, very fine church. Got 2 flags in the yard. Life sometimes can be hard, but lots of things are easier 'cause of us. Our church is a very, very, very fine church. Got flags in the yard. Life sometimes can be hard, but lots of things are easier 'cause of us. I'll light the candles. You place the flowers on the altar you prepared today. There you go, quick one. Our church, it's a very, very, very fine church, and you're a part of it. So thank you for being part of this church and taking care of it with all of us. All right, until next time. Now it's time to meet with the Red Birds. The Red Birds, the toddler group, ages 2.5 to 5. If you could meet me here now, that would be fantastic. So I have a friend down here, and my friend's name is Squirtle. And Squirtle loves Oreos. And I happen to have a plate full of Oreos. And and I also love Oreos, and I'm kind of hungry. And so I want to eat all 4 Oreos. Do you think I should eat all of the Oreos on my own, or should I share them with Squirtle? Let me know what you think I should do. What would you do if you were in my situation? I think I'm going to share them. I think I would feel better and happier if my friend got to eat the Oreos that I love, and we both got to enjoy them. And so today we're talking about sharing. And sharing is something that we can do in many different ways in many different parts of life. And just as, younger kids, older kids need to learn how to share and practice sharing, adults also need to learn how to share and get better at sharing. And sometimes it's really hard to share. But church helps us learn how to share together. So our building, our church, and so many of the things that we do, those are paid for by people in the community. And so lots of people who go to church, they share their money, they share their time, and they make a church where they feel at home and where they love each other. And so this week, I want you to think about how you share in your life. Maybe you share with your siblings. Maybe you share food. Or maybe you share toys. Or maybe you share, flowers, whatever. Or maybe you share chores in your house. And so maybe there's some kind of way that you can help out with your parents or your siblings or anyone else in your family around the house. And so maybe this week you can help empty the dishwasher or help wash vegetables. I used to do that when I was young. We used to wash and cut green peas, snap green peas. And so learning how to share and practicing sharing in all these different parts of life helps us come together more as a community and as a family and with our friends. And it's such an important part of my life, and I'm so happy that I get to share with you every week. And I hope that you find ways that you can share with each other. Thank you for joining me, and have an awesome, awesome week. Bye-bye. Oh, hey. It's time for an activity with the green frog. So green frogs, younger elementary, please join me now for an activity. So today we're talking about the story of the bridesmaids with the oil. And one thing that I got out of this story was the importance of being prepared for the future. And I thought about when's a time that I really need to be prepared when I'm going on a trip. And so today I thought that we would pack our super preparedness backpacks. And so all you need, a backpack and whatever you want to put in it, but I'm going to show you what I put in my bag to be really prepared for my trip. And so when I was thinking about it, I looked for all kinds of things I thought would be useful or important or valuable, and I put them all in my bag. The first thing I need, of course, is a good bag. I love this bag. It's very sturdy, great for camping, day trips, things like that. And then, of course, water bottle. Yeah, need to drink water. It's nice and big. Oh, what's this? My favorite hoodie to keep me warm. It says Brooklyn in Arabic, if you can read Arabic. Ooh. And then, a harmonica. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I probably can't bring a guitar, but I can bring a harmonica if I want to make music. And of course, something to eat, peanut butter. And what else? Trail mix. Classic, can't go wrong with that. Oh, gotta clean my teeth, floss. Yes, of course. Need flossers, keep my teeth clean. And, oh, there's my mask. I almost forgot it. I'll put that on later. Can't be too careful now. Whoa. Okay. All right, and what else? Anything else? There's a ball, something to play with, in case I find any friends on the trip who want to play catch. Here is my prayer book. This is the Book of Common Prayer, but it's the Episcopal Church prayer book, and it's a book that I really love, and so I'll take that with me in case I want to pray. And finally, my favorite thing in the whole bag, Winnie the Pooh. This was the first stuffed animal I ever had when I was a baby, and I've had it my whole life, and it's very important. And if I have to go on a trip and I could only bring a backpack's worth of stuff, I would definitely bring this. So, what would you bring on a trip? You can pack your backpack. I'd love to see what you put inside. Look around for things that might be useful or fun or comforting, and you can send us a picture of your bag or a video of your bag at cym@fortwashingtonchurch.org. We'd love to see what you thought of. All right, thanks for joining me, and I will see you next week.
So, Blue Whales, ages 9 to 12. Today's Bible reading is about the importance of being prepared. And since it's also Stewardship Sunday, I thought I'd ask someone close to me about how to save, what's important to you, and knowing when you have enough for both yourself and for giving back to the community or causes close to your heart, like our church. So let's learn about how to understand money with my very own dad, who also happens to be a finance professor. Hi, Dad.
Hi, how are you?
Good, nice background. Well, so I just explained that we're talking about how saving up for something that's important to you is a good thing to do. And
Yes.
having enough to save to be able to give back to a community is even more important. When did I first start having a banking account, like a savings account myself? I don't even remember.
I don't remember that either. I know we started putting money into the thing for New York, the whatever it's called for college when you were younger. So, but I don't remember when you had your very own savings.
But what age do you think is a good age to start saving yourself?
It's never too early to start, I could say. So now, it probably when you're really young to have your parents set up an account for you, and then they could start putting in money for you, either like saying if you give you an allowance, some of the allowance goes into the savings or whatever. But it's never it's never too early, because it just, thanks to the wonder of compound interest, it eventually adds up. I mean, and of course, depending on how high the interest is and how frequently the interest compounds depends on how much it will grow. But yeah, I always tell people it's never too early to start saving.
Well, so Dad, do you want to explain compound interest?
Yeah, so compound interest is like earning interest on your interest. So
What is interest?
well, interest is what you will get compensated for letting somebody else use your money. So a bank or a mutual fund or a bond fund or whatever is you're giving up the use of that money where you could spend it on your own, and to get compensated, to say, okay, I'm giving up that use, you need to pay me something. And that's interest. Now, interest is associated with risk. So the higher the risk, the higher the interest. But the higher the risk also means there's more likelihood that you might not get that interest anyway and get your money back. So the safest place to put money is a bank. But unfortunately, banks pay nothing these days. They, very, very low interest on anything, unless you have a sizable amount to put into a CD, which when you're young, you probably don't.
So like what you're kind of saying is like, instead of buying ice cream and smoothies and all that stuff,
Yes.
if you just left some of that for the bank to deal with,
Yes.
it would just magically grow?
Yes, it would magically grow. A small amount. And it's safe because banking is deposits in banking is insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, I believe up to $250,000, which is very nice.
This is true. And this would not exist if it wasn't for Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
That's right.
If you're trying to grow your wealth by following trends of stocks that have been making a lot of money, like that's a huge risk. Whereas if you just put your money in the bank, it's automatically going to grow.
There's something interesting that everybody should be aware of. It's called the Rule of 72. Yes, the Rule of 72.
All right, the Rule of 72.
The Rule of 72 says if you want to know how fast your money will double, you divide 72 by the amount of interest that you're going to be earning. So if you're only earning 1%, it's going to take you 72 years to double your money. But if you're earning, say, 6% per year, then it would only take 12 years to double your money.
Okay, so today's scripture is about the parable of the bridesmaids, and like 5 of them come prepared with enough oil to last the whole night, and 5 of them don't, and they're the ones who are excluded from the wedding party because they can't relight their lamps.
Right.
So how would you suggest about, metaphorically speaking, coming about enough oil that not only you can light your own lamps, but you can share it with the other folks there too?
Ooh, okay. Well, let's say oil is able to earn compound interest, so that oil would be added to the oil that you have.
Yeah.
And that if you put it in something that would do that, then your original, whatever, cup of oil might grow to 9 ounces of oil after a certain point. And then you can take the additional ounce and then give it to somebody else.
And so for people who have to live like hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck, like what's a resolution? What's a way for them to be able to accumulate enough wealth for themselves and also to give back?
So one solution to that is to provide some sort of a relief for them. You could use the example of what's going on in the pandemic back in whenever that was, when there was a sizable amount given to everybody because they didn't have jobs, and they got, was it $1,200, was it? Another thing that could be done, and this is maybe what the future will hold for us, is that the things that eat up a lot of your cash, the money, the things that you need to support healthcare or transport, mostly healthcare, I think, anything that somebody else could pick up on to alleviate that for you, to provide education. You don't have to pay so much for your education, or you don't have to pay so much for your healthcare. That'll free up some money so that people could either start saving or just have some left around that they could share with others.
Like what I want to talk about, and what we are talking about, is how to use whatever excess there may or may not be to help a community and to make the world a better place. Why do you think that people would be so much more inclined to hold on to what they think is theirs, even though it's not actually theirs, rather than dispensing wisdom, wealth, whatever, to whoever needs it?
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what, to bring in the Sustainable Development Goals. The whole thing behind that is to make the world a safer, better, cleaner place, and it involves a certain amount of sacrifice from some to make everybody better.
What I am trying to do here is to help you understand why it's really important to be careful with what you do have,
Mm-hmm.
if and when you need to give it away for causes.
Mm-hmm. Maybe one of the reasons why poorer people are more generous about that is that they've actually been able, or at times receive the benefits of somebody helping them.
Mm-hmm.
So since they experienced it, then they know what it means. So
Dad, do you have an anecdote or experience to share about a time where you helped out somebody in need, either small scale or large scale?
Yes. I have there's this guy, I haven't seen him since we had the lockdown in March, but he always hangs out at, you know who he is.
The Court Street guy, yeah.
The guy at the Court Street station.
I love
it. He's just there being a nice person. And being grateful when people say hi, and being appreciate him being cheerful. So he let on that he was going to be 60 years old, I think 60. And so I said, I'm going to go get him some stuff. So I went to Costco, got him a nice like pullover windbreaker and some snacks and all this stuff. And I wasn't able to be there the day of his birthday, but the next day I came in and I gave it, and he was just so happy. He was so touched by everything. And, we consider ourselves each other friends, and he'll talk. And he said, this is a really good guy when some people walk by. He works over here at St. Francis College. He's a really great guy. And he just so appreciated it. It meant quite a lot to me. I think that he appreciated it. I know it meant a lot to him. And then so many other people were giving him stuff too. He had he had a good stash that day from his birthday. But that's, mostly because the way he was a nice person. He was friendly. He wanted to develop relationships with people, and I miss him. I really worry about him because I know he had some health problems, and I just haven't been around there in months. So I wish I may sometimes think about just taking a trip down there to see if he's there. But since so few people take the subway, he probably isn't even there. That's my story.
I like that. Like that anecdote touched on like how important it is to be aware of your community, but also giving when you can and how you can.
Yeah.
I like that you shared that story because it shows how much of a difference it makes to have like a social relationship with everybody.
Right.
But like especially the people in your community who you see every day, who are in need. And I guess what I want to say is just like when you see someone suffering, like the natural instinct is to help them.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of times where we don't know how to help somebody.
Right.
And I'm not saying that like money and like finance is the be all and end all of this, but like there are a lot of ways in which money and planning especially can help alleviate a lot of the social problems that are currently plaguing our country and not even our country, the whole world. Going back to the SDGs.
Yeah.
Which I wanted to mention that before. Like the primary goal of the SDGs is to make sure that everybody across the globe has at least a sustainable living wage.
Yes.
That is the primary goal.
Yes, it's
'Cause
poverty.
you can't do
No
anything
poverty
if
is
you
number
don't
one.
have that.
Right. No poverty is number one.
No poverty. So that ended kind of abruptly, but I just want to reiterate that eradicating poverty isn't a personal problem with personal solutions. Rather, it's a community issue from the most local to the most global. We all have to look out for each other. And one of the best ways that you can do that is to be prepared to give whatever you can, whenever you can. Thank you for participating in this week's CYM content. I hope you found our ideas about how to be a generous part of our church family to be useful. This week, I want you to think about ways you can be involved and give back. Like, who do you know who might need some help? Can you come up with a way to help them out? For more exploration and learning throughout the week, check out the links in the description. If you want to be on our email list to get additional activities, videos, and readings, send a note to cym@fortwashingtonchurch.org. And this is the time where I plug our upcoming, very, very quickly upcoming, Progressive Advent Christmas pageant. Contact me ASAP if you want to be involved, and keep an eye out for some emails for casting and script ideas. Now, before we go, let's say a little prayer for everyone in the world who might need it. Loving God, thank you for showing us your love in everyday life. Help us to help others through your never-ending love. Let all of your children know that you are there for them no matter what. Amen. Go in peace.